Yo boys, welcome to the video. Today I want to explain one specific tip on how you can become better at storytelling, telling stories, bringing up stories, etc. So this is something that I've come to learn recently as I've kind of looked into the storytelling niche, kind of how to get better at storytelling, because I was always interested and I've never been really the type of guy to be good at storytelling naturally, and I always thought I never really had many crazy stories. But I want to give you this kind of one tip today that I think can really help with that. So when you think of someone that's a storyteller or so when you think of someone that's a storyteller or someone that is telling stories to people, you probably think of a time that someone told you a super long story and they were really good at explaining it and it's very engaging and it was really good and it was like a 10-minute story. But what I've come to learn, because when I see those things, I think I feel like I don't really have a story like that, or whatever. One doesn't come to mind, or even if I do, I don't explain it very well, and I'm not great at it. But when you're trying to get better at these things, start small. Start with super, super small stories. Like if you're talking about going to the gym with someone, you're talking about the gym with them. Your story doesn't have to be, oh yeah, I went to the gym and then this guy had a knife and then went and tackled him and saved everybody and I was the hero and it's this whole story. A story doesn't have to be this whole thing you learn in school, beginning, middle, end, whole 5-paragraph essay. If you're talking about the gym with someone, a story could literally be, oh yeah, I was squatting last week and I hurt my knee. It sounds so boring, but these little micro stories, I'll call it micro stories, help build on conversations so much better, because you can have a conversation and say like 5 micro stories in that conversation and it'll make you seem way more interesting because it shows that you actually relate to the conversation you're having. So don't focus on the massive coming up with some huge story. And oftentimes you may notice people who have like one story that's like a longer story like that, it's like you'll hear, if you know them, you'll hear them tell it like 20 times, but a lot of times it kind of comes up a bit forced and a bit awkward. So like you'll have a conversation about something random and then they'll just like randomly kind of come up with their story about something else because they really want to tell it. And that's not really a good look. So if you just start saying things that you literally think, like I bet you've been talking to someone about cooking. You were talking about what you've been cooking recently, and a little memory pops up in your brain about something that happened when you were cooking. Literally say that. You might think of a time you burned yourself. It seems so boring in your head, and your brain's going to try and filter it out as not boring, as not interesting. But literally say it. It makes things so interesting. Just say a small little thing, say your small little micro story, and you'll start to get on a roll. And the more you tell these things, the more you'll remember. And what's even happened to me is like things that I thought were so small, like a small little story, I've realized turn into these great big huge stories. I was telling someone about this one little thing that happened when I was camping once, about how I hurt my leg. I ran into a tree. And it seems like a small thing. And then after that, this whole story of mine came up about this big adventure we had that day. And it ended in me running into a tree. So when you say these things, your brain will start to flow. And then you'll just randomly think of something, a huge story you can tell. So, I know I've been blabbering on. Don't worry about telling some huge essay level story, super interesting, super engaging. When a little memory pops up in your brain, say that. Call it a micro story, a tiny little thing you can say that will make you so much more interesting and keep conversations way more fresh and interesting. And that's really it. If you're interested, I've just released a brand new school community where you can learn to unchain yourself, unleash your confidence, find your purpose. We're going to build a huge community in there. I have brand new courses coming out soon that I think will help you guys a lot if you're interested, as well as one-on-one calls with me so you can get your advice tailored to you you can tell me about your situation, tell me about your stories, and I'd be happy to help you on these one-on-one calls. So I hope this helps. Hope you put this into practice, and I hope to see you inside the school community.